Buenas, welcome to Music Marketing TV. I'm Kevin Ochoa, and today we're going to look at the most feature-packed, intuitive, and beautiful version of Pro-Q. The team at FabFilter has worked incredibly hard to create the most feature-rich and speedy workflow for their end users. Audio engineers and music producers alike will rejoice in these new features that we're going to speak about today and the quality of life improvements. Without further ado, here is the one and only Pro-Q4. New features like the EQ sketch and the instance list will greatly speed up your workflow. Meanwhile, Spectral Dynamics will increase the detail in which you can edit spectral information. Let's take a look at these features with greater detail.
All right, so here we are inside Pro-Q. Now, if you click, you can move around to get a band and move your scroll wheel to settle in a queue, like you could with previous versions of Pro-Q. However, there's a new nifty feature that the team at FabFilter has devised, which is this masterpiece right here. You just saw that. Oh, let me do it again. Voila. All right, it's here in the track.
Into Russia, I think I'm falling. A light in the dark, I got what I wanted.
How'd you like them apples? This is amazing. This is probably the quickest way to dial in an EQ, period. I've never seen anything this quick before. All right, let's hop over to the next feature, which is the instance list, and that is viewable right here.
Into Russia, I think I'm falling.
That's right, I can click and edit my other Pro-Qs.
In the dark, I got what I wanted.
Again, this is an amazing piece of kit. Let's go into the drums that I have here. So where are they? There we go. And let's solo them. All right, pretty good. Now, let's say I'm back in that list view, and I am in Pro-Q. How do I see my drums? Well, I simply come up here and put kit, and here are all my drums. That's awesome. It's amazing. I can even pin these instances here so I can easily recall them. So let's say that I'm having a hard time mixing between these and my leads. I can go into my leads here. Here is the virus size. And there's my list with only my viruses and my drum kit. So that's amazing. All right, let's undo this and let's check out the next feature, which is something that's highly requested by several people out there. It's actually an amazing feature. I think it's much better than we expected. So let's take a look at here. Here is a part of the song where I have vocals and the leads playing in unison. And let's play back. Now this feature has saved my butt. Let me show you what I mean. Here is the Pro-Q that's on the vocal. And this is triggering the other viruses to duck away, but in a very distinct manner that was not available in the previous version of Pro-Q. And let me add the other one. Here we go. Boom. Let's take a look at what they're doing. This one's not doing anything because it's the one we just programmed, but we'll make it do something right now. Yeah, the ones over here, they're actually using Spectral Dynamics. Had we just been using regular dynamics, we'd go over here and disable the Spectral Dynamics. It's on a little something like this. It sounds a little unnatural and a little too much, I would say. Let's toggle this back on. And now they're going to be able to play back better in unison. Let's make this other lead also do the dynamic processing. I'm going to set this up right here. I'm also going to activate the unison. Now I could have Spectral Dynamics working just on the band without the sidechain, but I'm just using this to sidechain from my vocal. And in my case of the Pro-Q here, I have to actually add the main boxer here. And now this should be working. use section again here, but in Spectral Dynamics. All right, there we created a lot of space for that vocal. Now, there's another thing I like to do with the vocal, which is a little bit of expansion. Let's do a little boost, but make it dynamic. And then I'm going to activate the spectral mode. Let's make the spectral density a bit sharper so it's more detailed. There we go. Now, the other thing I like to do is do a little bit of a attenuation on those sharper constants and silences. Again, I'm going to go back to the dynamic EQ. Spectral Dynamics, sorry. That's a little bit too aggressive, so let's roll back. And also going to play with the attack and release to make it quicker. I think this is awesome. Let's listen to the rest of this. Awesome. Those are some impressive features coming from FabFilter Pro-Q4.
While EQ Sketch, the instance list, and Spectral Dynamics are the major features in this update, there are many more features and quality of life additions to Pro-Q4. Character modes, all-pass filter shape, improved dynamic EQ, and fractional slopes are just some of the features I want to share with you right now.
All right, so let's take a look at those 4 features in greater detail here inside Pro-Q4. I have a button here which has the clean, the subtle, and the warm characters. So the clean character is what we've heard throughout Pro-Q's history. Subtle is based on analog saturation, and warm is based on tube saturation. So these are going to be very interesting results. You know, typically Pro-Q4 or Pro-Q has been thought about a very clean EQ. So this is a slight deviation without having to redo the entire interface. So this is a very smart move. So let's go to warm real quick. Back to subtle. And warm. And finally clean again. So there is a very big difference between these. Now I'm going to stick with warm because it's tube saturation. And you know what I'm about to do right now. I'm going to do that one special trick we do with those tube EQs, if you know what I mean. Now this sounds really great. Let's add a spectral dynamic band right here to make some boost on the snare. And then since I'm using Pro-Q, I can use those modes as well as a sideband and push up my claps. And I'll make that dynamic. Awesome. Let's hear it in clean mode. Yes. That warm mode definitely adds a lot of thump. All right, with that in mind, let's go over to my snare top. And I'm going to add a different type of filter here that we haven't seen before in Pro-Q, which is the all-pass filter. I can use this to change the phase of things. And here I have added the all-pass band to accentuate the lows in the snare. So this is actually a really cool and useful feature. Again, you could try to use this on different types of things. I had an example I wanted to use on a reverse bass, but I think that's a little bit too aggressive. Probably I should leave that for a different video. I think this is a fantastic addition. Yeah, this is going to be amazing for those of you who are doing sound design or even mixing work and are trying to phase align things. Let's take a look at the enhanced dynamics features. Let's look at our overheads real quick. As you can see, I'm making use of the Spectral Dynamics. And also the regular dynamics. So let's take a look at this more closely. Let's solo this channel. I'm going to use the side function here. And in this case, I'm going to use the attack and release parameters to make more, how do you say, a snappier transient for my clap. I'm also going to lower my threshold. All right, and I could also play with the release. I can set this band to be free, So now I can be even more detailed in what I'm changing. I'm going to be very detailed with where the clap is. I could have also made it do the opposite. I could have made it duck if I focus on the high end and made the attack, or sorry, change this down. I can make it react differently. So let's go back to the expansion that I had earlier with the free band focusing on the clap. Okay. So that's how I can use some dynamics processing with the enhanced features like the attack and release and also the band free setting. Now to finish everything off, I'm going to go back to the acoustic drum bus here. Now check this out. And I'm going to zoom in a bit more in here so you can see what's going on. This is awesome. I'm able to change my slope fractionally now, not just based on the complete rounded 36 dB per octave, 30 dB per octave, 24 dB per octave, and so on. Now I can go between them. As easy as that. You see that? Let's try this on this slope right here. And let's make it go down. Oh, I said this one. I said this one. Come on. There we go. See that? That's awesome. You could also do it on low and high cuts. So let's do it on this one. Let's put it over here though. All right, so there you go. This is a great feature to get that right slope that you want. That way you're fiddling less around between different gain and gain and Q adjustments. So now you can just use the slope fractions and you'll be good to go. All right, I hope you enjoyed this part of the video, and let's go on to the outro.
Thanks for joining us here in this introduction to Pro-Q4. FabFilter has knocked it out of the park again. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you stay up to date with all the content here at Music Marketing TV. Once again, I'm Kevin Ochoa, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.